All right, you guys know what time it is. Once you hear that intro, it means it's Thursday. Is ready to go down, and it means that you are in the right spot. So we got an amazing show lined up for you guys tonight. I am your host, Coach Terrence Wood, and I'm bringing you guys some of the best. We're bringing you guys some of the best in the football industry, people who have lived it and people who want to share with you. First and foremost, let me introduce the gentleman that always holds me down every Thursday. This is my boy, somebody that I've literally lined up with on the field, and this is somebody that knows his stuff. That's why we call him Q, the Guru. What's going on, Playboy?
Hey, man, I just can't so I don't get fined, man. I just don't want to get fined. So I showed up.
Okay, he showed up, and hopefully he got that guru knowledge ready for y'all tonight. And of course, we always gonna have a great guest for you. This is somebody that we've been itching to get on because he's doing so many things, you guys, and he's transitioned so well out of the game of football. This is somebody that came straight through an HBCU university. Some of you young athletes are wondering about the HBCU route. We're going to get it live and direct tonight. He had a chance to play professionally, and then now he's doing this thing in the fitness world and in the nutrition space, and that is none other than Mr. Jamar Landrom. How's it going, Playmaker?
Man, I'm excited. I'm happy to be here, and it's Jamar Landrom, a.k.a. Mr. Let's Go.
Mr. Let's Go. Mr. Let's Go. So you guys know what time it is. And this is going to be a good one, you guys, because like I said, I mean, we're bringing you the best of the best. Jamar has lived it. He's done it. Went as an undrafted free agent to the Steelers. He's played overseas, you guys. Very few have gotten a chance to do that. And back when we were coming out, they had NFL Europe, which was an amazing experience. And then, like I said, now he's getting into the supplements and the fitness business. So you guys are in the right place. And if you're joining us for the very first time, welcome. Make sure this isn't your last time. This is the Locker Room Show where we bring you the trending topics, and then we cover what our guest has been through as well and grab some nuggets from our guests. So let's get right into tonight's show, you guys, and we got a good one. Obviously, you guys see the topics there on the bottom. I see some of our regulars already popping in tonight. Jimmy Rucker is here. He says Q got the Skittles. And, of course, we got the great Coach Falls. As always, mother-in-law holding it down out of Denver. Said excited for another great show. So
Not tonight, Jimmy. We with the Gummy Bear Mafia tonight, man.
He's with the gummies tonight. So, and hopefully those ain't medicinal gummies and Q ain't tripping on the show. So we're going to just see what happens tonight. We're going to see what happens tonight. So let's go right into it, fellas. And we got the right guest on because this is a gentleman, you guys, that has gone the HBCU route. Like I said, you know, and some of the athletes we work with are thinking about whether or not that's right with them. An All-American, All-Conference player at the All-Ohio Valley Conference. And there have been a lot of guys leaving the HBCUs to take their shot in the league, in the NFL. So I want to throw it back to you, Jamar. When was the first time, man, that it really dawned on you? Because obviously we all have the dream of playing in the NFL. But when was the first time it really dawned on you that, hey, I can make it from an HBCU?
Well, the biggest thing about it, let me go back a little bit. I actually transferred into TSU. And what got me to make my decision to go there was a coach told me this. He was like, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest, the way you play, you come here, you're going to be All-American, All-Conference, and go to the NFL. So since day one, at 6 years old, that was my dream to play in the NFL. So when he said that, it was a no-brainer for me. And during that time, you know, we had to sit out. We couldn't we couldn't transfer from, you know, D1 to D1. So if I wanted to play right away, I had to transfer down. So it was a no-brainer for me, man. I was excited with those words. And right then and there, I knew that with those words and what he said, that I'm going to go to TSU and I'm going to go to the NFL.
So it was the trust of the coach and really putting faith in the coach that, hey, if I do what he says, then I'm going to find a way.
Yeah, some of that too, but also at the same time, trust and faith in my ability, right? Because he just reassuring, saying that the way I play. So what he was saying was the way I already play. If I bring that same intensity here at this level, then for sure I'm gonna be All American, All Conference, and go to the NFL. So it was one of those things that kind of gave me that, that I said that's what I need to do, because I still was kind of deciding to see exactly where I wanted to go. If I still wanted to play D1, a lot of kids grow up with the dream to play D1. They want to play on TV. They think that's the route you have to go to the NFL. But when he said those things, it just solidified it for me and said, you know what, TSU is the right spot for me, and that's where I'm going to go.
That's a great point right there. And Q, talk to me, man, because this is a conversation we have a lot. Do you think it's a difference? Jamar was a safety. Do you think it's a difference if I'm in the trenches that I need to stick to traditional school? Or is it like, hey, if you're good enough, you're good enough?
No, it's always going to be, if you have game, they're going to find you. It does, help in addition to you having great ability, your coaches, having a connection, whether, to the league, whether it's them being former players themselves or however they have connections. But no, if you're a dog and you do what you're supposed to do, and get that tape, you're going to have an opportunity.
Okay. All right, man. So some of you guys listening, this might be the right route for you. Don't neglect it. Don't look past it. It may be a great landing spot for you to choose a HBCU. So you guys keep that in mind. We're on to our next topic, you guys. And this one is one that I wanted to bring to you, gentlemen, because you've been in competitive situations. Obviously, Georgia has been kicking people's butt up and down the field, has won 2 national championships, you guys. But that was with Stetson Bennett, and he's gone. So they can't rely on him. But obviously, they've got high standards in Athens, Georgia. So I'll start it off with you, Q. When you talk about a school that's now to the level of UGA, what should the expectations be for a new starting quarterback?
Win. It's Georgia. I mean, it's when you come into those standards and you're the marquee position at a school like that, we're not expecting to miss a beat, and we're expecting to start exactly where we left off the previous championship, period. So that's a lot of weight. But then that's why if you're a 4 or 5-star kid, or even if you, in addition to maybe even set a year to watch, how to exactly to take over this offense, you got to come in right away, and the gas has got to be all the way to the floor right out the gate. It's Georgia, man.
Okay.
Flat out.
All right. Jimmy says, go where you can make plays. So obviously, if these kids are signing up for Georgia, they're thinking they can make plays. Talk to me, Jamar, if you're maybe the parent of one of these quarterbacks that are vying for this position, the level of expectations at a UGA. Are you a little stressed out for your kid, or are you thinking he's ready to go?
I mean, you've been playing football, his whole life, their whole life. So therefore, I mean, this is the moment that you've been preparing for. Like Q said, I got to agree with him. I mean, you got to be ready to play. The expectation is to win. I mean, Georgia has been back-to-back champions. They've been competitive for a while, so they already built the culture of winning and success. If you've been around the program, you're going to be filled with tons of athletes at every position. You're going to have a great defensive line. You'll have a great secondary. I mean, you're going to have a great offensive line, so there's no excuses. I mean, you have to win. You have to be ready. And if the next guy ain't ready, then it's, the saying, the next man up.
And as far as a coach, am I like, hey, first time I see this kid throwing an interception, I'm yanking him? Am I judging this by practice, Jamar? Does he get a game to lose? How am I judging this as a coach?
I think you should see enough what you need to see in the spring. So therefore, you go with the guy you're going to roll with. And if you're going to go with that guy, then you have to give him time. I mean, one mistake. I never liked being in a situation where coach give you one mistake and you're out. I mean, it's already a pressure position to where you at the quarterback, where it's the most stressful position already. And then also, if you've given him no time to be able to make mistakes, and every little thing he does, he's walking on eggshell, he's not going to perform well. You need to make sure that the environment is comfortable for him much as possible for him to be able to thrive, because he is your leader. So I say no, man. Give him some time, and that's the guy you roll with. You got to trust your decision. That's why you're the coach. That's why you get paid the big bucks. So make sure you make the right decisions.
Okay, no,
I
that's well
agree.
said right
And you want
there.
and
Go
T,
ahead,
you
Q.
want to see primarily, you'd rather for your young quarterback to make his mistakes at the beginning of the season too. If you're gonna make mistakes,
Okay.
go ahead and work the kinks out and make the mistakes early on if possible. But you still, like Jamar was saying, you still want to see the mistakes, because me as a coach, I want to see you make mistakes and I want to see if you can fight your way out of them. I want to
Okay.
see if we
All right.
get down, and we're down 14-17, can you fight back? Can you get us this W after making these mistakes? That, especially in a quarterback, that you have to see that. You got to see that out of kids.
And I wanted to bring this up, but this happens at all positions, you guys. I mean, if there was a dog running back, this is going to happen at the University of Texas. This is going to happen wherever there was a top receiver, University of Houston with Tank Dell. So this happens across the country where a young buck has to fill big shoes. And then we get to see who that young man is. So this will be interesting to see if UGA can keep trucking and doing their thing. We're on to the next topic, you guys. And if you're joining us for the first time, this is how we roll in the locker room. We cover the trending topics that matter to you young football players, you parents, you coaches out there, because many of you guys will go through this or you're hearing about it. So I wanted to this one definitely caught my attention. Whenever somebody's getting some money, it catches my attention. And it looks like some former players, you guys, some former players from the University of Iowa. I haven't even seen really a case like this where guys are claiming that there was some hazing going on, maybe some racially profiled behavior and treatment. And they recently, about 12 players, I believe, got 4.2 million that they're splitting. That they said, hey, we were treated unfairly at the University of Iowa because of our race. So we had to change our hairstyles, everything. So I'll start off with you, Q. Let's take a different look at this, because there's cultures. There's cultures, and the coach is leaving, I believe, but the AD's still there. So if, even though this is past, if you're a parent, is this something that you're a little leery of sending your child to Iowa? Or is this like, hey, that was in the past, we're going to deal with it on how they recruit us, and we're going to take it as is?
I mean, that's a good question. I would kind of look at it where it's more along the lines the coach. I really don't believe that the AD would bring in a coach had he known that it was any type of underlying, racist type of issues that he would bring to the program. Iowa obviously has been a solid program in the Big Ten for decades upon decades. So, that I wouldn't say that, it's not a black eye to the program. But it's one of those things where it could severely hurt recruiting. A lot of kids that might have been, 4 or 5 star kids, 3-star kids that might have been considering going there, that could have hurt recruiting severely. And as a parent, you do have to be sensitive. And that's why, again, as our subject, we were just saying, that's why you're starting to see kids really starting to consider, HBCUs more because of situations like this, among other things.
Now, that's a great point right there. Jamar, talk to me. I mean, is there any way that you can maybe decipher how your child or how yourself as an athlete will be treated? Maybe I'm being recruited by North Dakota State. Maybe I'm being recruited by Montana. I know there's not many people that look like me out there. Do you think there's any way I could get a feel for how I may be treated?
Yes, I mean, going through the process, you can always kind of feel by the energy. I mean, what I would do is ask the players that's already currently there how they feel, how they've been treated. Ask other people that's around the campus that may look like me. It's funny, I actually went to Iowa on an official visit, and then I kind of just didn't like the vibe there or whatever. So I knew that couldn't be a school because I'm from Michigan. That's Big Ten country. So, I got heavily recruited coming out of high school by Big Ten schools. But what I learned as a grown man is that you go where you celebrate it, not tolerate it. So as a people, if our people wasn't, celebrated there, then I would not go there. We were tolerated there, obviously, having things like this come out. So me as a father, I wouldn't consider that program for my child. Just for the simple fact is, how can you trust it? It's going to take time, and trust take time. Trust is one of those things take a long time to build, and it's one of those things you can lose fast right away. So for me, it's a negative. For me, no, my son or child, daughter, whoever will not, consider Iowa. Just for the fact is, look, let's be honest. Yeah. Stuff like that, man. We in 2023, 2022 is still facing those type of things, and then we don't have time for that, man. It's time for us to move forward.
Hey, I know I passed on.
That's a great point, fellas. And sometimes we're where we got to go to school. That's the only offer we got. Maybe we're in a particular city and it's not kosher in the city. But when you get it from your own coaches and within the program, then that's ridiculous.
You're right.
It's ridiculous without outside too, but really when you're getting it from inside the program, and that's what these young gentlemen got a settlement for. It must have been that bad that they got paid a hefty sum for what they were going through. So, you guys keep an eye out. If you feel like you're being treated unfairly, then you got to let people know. So things can change. We are on to our next topic, you guys, and we're definitely smoking tonight. I see some people coming in the chat. Jimmy says, how's Boise State? Oh, okay. Boise State, Jimmy said, has had problems like this too. So there you go. Right there, you guys.
Yeah, I can imagine, it's Idaho. Come on.
Well,
man.
like I said,
about the potatoes.
Well, difference though between the city and the program, when your coach is getting on you and being racial, that's a tough one right there. So we are on to our next topic, you guys, and Q, I know you got something to say about this, pertaining that this young man is from the Lou, where you're from, but Ezekiel Elliot, all careers, they either come to an end or there's a new season in a great career. And Ezekiel Elliott's season with the Dallas Cowboys has come to an end. And amazing career, a little bit tapered off at the end, but first round draft pick, I think number 4 overall, obviously ballyhooed Ohio State career. And I wanted to ask you, gentlemen, we'll start off with you, Jamar. What's the threshold, or what's that line if you're a GM? Let's give you the GM hat for the Dallas Cowboys. How do you send off your greats? When does somebody become somebody that you got to send off the right way, as opposed to the guys that find out through the media? Has Ezekiel Elliott hit that threshold? How do you think the Cowboys should have handled this?
I think they should have handled it better. He definitely should have known first. Because he's a guy that went out there, played with a PCL, messed up knee, and still went out there and played his heart out every game that he lined up. I really like Zeke. I think Zeke a great back, and I still think Zeke has something left in the tank. But we're dealing with the NFL, not for long. So you're a business. It's a business, so you're a number. So expecting something from someone who is not going to give you something is foolish in my mindset. So the biggest thing about it was, at the end of the day, he's a winner. He grew up as a kid. Had a dream and was able to make millions from it. So at the end of the day, I wouldn't take it on the chin. He has to take it on the chin and just keep rolling with the punches. Yeah. But Zeke will be all right. He'll bounce back. He'll go land on another team, and he'll finish out his career another solid 2 or 3 years.
Q, what's your opinion on this? We paid you, we drafted you, we paid you. Can we just let you go when we're ready to let you go? Or is there a certain way that somebody at his stature should be let go?
No, I can agree with you more. I feel like the Cowboy organization sent this man off all wrong. You look at him statistically, man. He had less carries and was right behind Tony Dorsett. Other than him and Emmitt Smith, Zeke is right there among the greatest backs of that organization of all time. And this has been, as they say, America's team, the most famous organization of, in the NFL. What I don't like is the fact that you get this kid, especially at the running back position. So you already have a shortened career at that position. That's a statistical fact, right? And this kid is averaging. You have to think. You go back. Zeke was averaging 30 to 35 carries a game. They ran this kid to death and then sent him out the pasture like an old thoroughbred. And that's the part that I don't like, is because it wasn't where they tried to balance it out or be like, well, hey, maybe we'll have, another back to take a little bit of the load. Right, exactly. Or anything like that. You pound this kid up against an 8-man front for 3 or 4 years straight at 30 or 35 carries. No one can take that. And then you just send him off. That's what I don't like. They did this man wrong.
There's some guys that become made men with their NFL organization where they got a job. They'll make up a title for you. Is he a made man with Jerry Jones?
He's gone, isn't he? Jerry gave a speech, and they tried to make it heartfelt, to make it look like he's not the villain of what I feel that he is. Look at how he did Dez. Jerry Jones has a long track record of this, basically, using guys up or not giving them the respect or not paying them what they should. If anything, he should have let Dak go and got rid of Dak 2 or 3 years ago before he ever got rid of this man. This man, like you said, Jamar, this man has showed up come hell or high water, 30, 35 carries a game, injured or not. So I feel terrible for the kid. Absolutely terrible.
Yeah. And as you guys know, this is a business, and it happens in movies, it happens in everything we do. So you guys will definitely see where Zeke ends up and see how he finishes out his career. We're on to our next topic, you guys, and this is a big one. And I got two gentlemen that are good people to talk to about this. And some of you young players need to perk up when we talk about this. But the mental side of things, the mental health side of things, and this is something that we will continue to revisit. Just this past week, former NFL player Stanley Wilson passed away in a mental health facility, actually. And then right here, you guys see articles of the offseason isn't time to relax. Mental health support in the NFL, where the NFL is trying to do things. Jamar, you actually had a chance to play in the NFL, various other leagues. You played at a high level in college. I know it's different today, but do you remember ever in your career mental health being a topic or somebody pulling you aside and saying, hey, man, how are the mentals?
No, it wasn't a thing back then. We come from the era where you had to toughen it up. There was no one for you to really talk to, right? You had to figure it out yourself from that standpoint. And through a time, I went through a little transition for myself, but it was during that journey I had to find my purpose. So my advice to the young athletes is, before football is something that you do. You got to have a purpose bigger than football. And once I found my purpose, I never struggled with mental health ever again, so to say. I never had depression thoughts. I never had anything, because I woke up every day knowing what my purpose was and operating in my purpose every single day. So I would encourage the guys, like I said, to make sure you find your purpose. Make sure you do reach out to talk to somebody. But at that time, it wasn't a thing. You had to be an Iron Man. You had to be a tough man. If you cried, you were looked at as soft. You couldn't show your emotions and stuff like that. So now it's definitely totally different. Like I said, I encourage my sons. I have 2 boys. I encourage my youngest son. It's okay to cry, man. It's okay to express yourself, right? But have a reason behind it. Just don't be crying for, no reason. Make sure you're crying for a reason and you have a good purpose to cry, but it's okay to cry. So I try to look at those things different and make sure, as me as a coach now, as a mentor, to make sure that I'm giving them an environment, I'm setting the environment so they can be able to feel free to come talk to me about anything.
No, that's big right there, especially like you said, bringing up 2 young sons of the next generation. Q, talk to me, when you were at Kansas or maybe even back in St. Louis, did you feel like if you were down or if something was going on in the family that you could express that to somebody, or was that like just put it under the rug and keep it in?
No, well, it was like that, at one point in time, my younger brother's always been my sounding board. He played as well. So it was one of those things where if anybody, he always understood. But it's mental health is real. I can agree with Jamar, especially with our era. It was one of those things where it was hush hush, and it was a gladiator sport. You know what you signed up for, and that's where it started and that's where it ended. And it was really where the world really started getting a taste once we lost Junior Seau. And then from there, it progressed like, hey, this really is a thing. And it is. This is, you have to look scientifically at this game, the impact on the average hit is the equivalent, they say, of a car wreck. So if you have 10 tackles, in a game, you do the math, so mental health and CT, it's a real thing, and what I don't like about the league is, and T, me and you have spoken about this a number of times, is, well, let's shorten the preseason, right? And let's make it a longer season, and that, you see what I mean? So think about it.
The thing that doesn't make sense,
season so we can shorten careers. That's what they're doing.
And then why are we so hard capped on the roster size? Obviously these other leagues are showing that there's talented kids still looking for jobs or playing in other leagues. So why are we so capped at 53 is very interesting to me.
That's a great, but again, it's just like the league is no different than Lowe's or any other employer. We want to be where what we hear millions of dollars, but to an owner, that's crumbs. I don't care how much a player is getting made. When you look at what the type of money these owners have, that's crumbs. So it's like we want to have, at the least amount of people as possible on our payroll, and we want to pay them the absolute minimum, even if it sounds like a boatload of money. It's not to me as an owner. I'm a billionaire. You might be a millionaire, but that's nothing, So what do we do again? We lengthen up the season. We make more games so we can shorten your career. There's already potentially short because it's already football anyway. Now you want 17 games. We're not 18 games. We're not even talking about the playoffs. These boys out here playing 20 games, full throttle, 21 games. Man, you can't take that. That's why you're not going to see any more Brady careers. You're not going to see 15 and 20, 17, 20-year careers. The human body can't take that.
Yeah. And Coach Fall says it's all about the money. If they have more players, they get to keep less, 100%.
Absolutely.
So, it's contradictory, you guys, when they're telling you, hey, we want to lessen the preseason. No, they want to get to the regular season because that's when the stands are full and that's when you make your money. So that's a big deal right there. Did you feel like it heightened, Jamar, once you got to the professional level? Did you feel like it was starting to be talked about then? When you got let go, did they say, hey, do you need any counseling? Or was it like, here's the door?
No, here's the door. Like I said, it was nothing in place like they have now. They had outlets that you can tap into to the NFLPA. But it wasn't something that, it was outspoken. Like you had to go search and find that stuff. You had to know exactly all the stuff that the NFLPA, PA actually offered and had for players. So it wasn't no one there like a liaison or someone there or advocate to say, look, now here's the next step for you. Here, contact this person and I'm going to show you all the things that you have from being a part of the NFL and stuff like that. So no, it wasn't, And like he said, let's be honest, the NFL is still barely doing anything about it. They're bringing more awareness to it, but there's still nothing in place. I just recently went through the concussion settlement myself, and it showed that I actually had something, but then they still denied me. So they're still trying to deny players the benefits that they have for them, and they're still not doing enough. So it's just to look good for the audience, so therefore they can't lose their audience. They're trying to get more fans, so they want to make it look good on the outside, but they're still doing the same stuff.
Absolutely. And make no mistake, folks, we love this game. We're not talking about the game itself. We're just talking about, the NFL. Again, it's not, we all had that dream. We love playing, getting to that level especially, but the league itself, I'll even go as far as saying some ways possibly the commissioner who, could do a much better job. And to me, never really filled Commissioner Tagliabue's, shoes efficiently at all. He's not doing much at all. Like you said, Jamar, what happens? Here comes the Turk. Need your book. That's it. Yeah. No counseling, no nothing. Tell me, like I said, tell me if I'm lying, man. That's honest truth.
It's unemployment.
Hey, here come the Turk, and that's it.
Coach need to see you bring your playbook.
Yeah, hey, I'm telling you. That's all I go down.
There you guys go. So no, that's a big one, you guys. And if you are a young athlete, whether you're listening live or you're watching a recording of this, and you feel like something's off, you feel like you need some support, man, do not hesitate. You are not weak. Go get some support. Go get some love. I see superstar Omarion Tipler out of Mississippi. What's going on? He says, "Sup, Coach Falls." That's one of our playmakers out of our program, and he's going to be a special one. So nice. We see you, playmaker. And like I said, if you ever feeling like you need some support, get that support. So we are on to our next topic, you guys, and that is the lightning round. The lightning round is where it goes down. This is one of our fan favorite portions of the show. There you go. You hear the lightning. It was lightning out here and raining and everything in California yesterday. But we are ready for the lightning round. And this is our version, you guys, of word association, where our guest has 60 seconds, y'all. He's got 60 seconds to tell us what's on his mind. Now, this is unfiltered, but we do want it PG or PG-13. So Jamar's going to come through. He's got two young ones at the house. And we are going to find out what young Jamar is thinking about when I ask him these questions. So it may be a person. It may be a topic. It may be somebody that he played against. We don't know. But he's got 60 seconds to tell us what's on his mind. So you ready, big dog?
Yes, sir. Mr. Let's go. Let's go.
All right. All right, Mr. Let's go. There you guys go. So we got the clock at 0. So you know I ain't cheating nobody in 2023. They was coming after me in 2022, but not in 2023. So I got Jamar ready to go. We are at 00s, and we're going to see what he can get. Now, the number, Jamar, is 14. You got to get 14 because we got a little something on the line for you. I heard you was talking to your wife, so we got a dinner and we got a hotel stay on the locker room show. Okay. If you can get to 14 or more. Okay. So I know she's probably listening now. So let's go. And we are going to start, and I will start the clock when I mentioned the first one. Now, once again, 60 seconds. First thing on your mind. Number 1, Jackson State University. Go.
Boo. Fake Tigers.
Steve McNair.
Steve McNair was a great quarterback.
Favorite cereal.
Fruit Loops.
Troy Polamalu.
Beast. One of the best safeties I ever seen.
Nas or Jay-Z.
Nas.
Devontae Adams or Stephon Diggs.
Devontae Adams.
Bull ride or swim with the Sharks.
Swim with the Sharks.
Best player you ever played against.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Nashville.
Cashville, Tennessee. Had great times there.
Gabrielle Union or Kerry Washington.
Kerry Washington.
Bryce Young or CJ Stroud? 56 seconds.
CJ Stroud.
Time. Okay. He was
might have got down. Yeah, he might have got down.
Hold on right now. So, okay, we got.
You can answer my flash. You can ask them.
and you get one. You get one for any tech delay. Yeah, you get one for tech delay. So you're really looking for 13 or more. So let's go. Okay, we got Jackson State 1. We got Steve McNair 2. We got Devontae 3. We got favorite cereal 4. We got Troy Polamalu 5. We got Nas 6. We got Swim with the Sharks 7. We're gonna revisit a couple of these. We got Larry Fitzgerald 8. We got 9 with Gabrielle Union. We got 10 with 6. So we got 10. We got to 10. And with the tech delay, we got 11. We got 11. So you were rolling, but a little bit short there. So let's revisit a couple of these. You said Troy Polamalu. You said he was legit, huh?
Oh, yeah.
So let me tell you a story. So I got, when you get into training camp, OTAs and stuff like that, so you watch the cut-up. So Dick LeBeau by far had the hardest defense ever. We had like 30 defense calls the first day of install. I'm like, man, my head was spinning. So we were watching a game against Cleveland Browns, right? Troy Polamalu was in the dime position. That's when you seen him in the box. So when you seen Troy was in the box, they called dime and they brought another safety in. So Troy Polamalu had blitz and he tried to swim over the offensive lineman. But the offensive lineman caught him under his shoulder pass. So Troy Polamalu fell on his hands on the back and his feet. And he jumped from that position and tackled Jamar Lewis. I said, hold on, coach, rewind that. And then Ike Taylor they called me Black College at Pittsburgh. He was like, oh, yeah, Black College, that's Troy. That's Troy. He real. And I said, man, that's crazy. I ain't never seen nothing like that. Like that play, craziest play I ever seen in my life.
Yeah, Kerry used to tell me stuff about him all the time, just man. Like he's everywhere all the time. Yeah. That's how you can explain him. He's everywhere all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, he was different, man. He was different. He had like another instinct out there.
Yeah, man.
You know, he was just different.
And he's going with the Nas over the Jay-Z. So, okay, I know some people go either way with that, but Nas is the realest. And then, of course, he's going with the Fruit Loops for the favorite cereal. You rolling with him, Q, on the Fruit Loops?
Man, it's all Cinnamon Toast Crunch, man. I rock with Fruit Loops, though. Fruit Loops cool. I get with Fruit Loops.
Man, you got to understand. Listen, when you growing up in the hood, you weren't able to get those Fruit Loops and stuff like that. So
man. And Fruity O's.
Yeah, Fruity O's. Something like that, man. We wouldn't eat Fruit Loops. So I remember when I got to college, man, we was eating Fruit Loops. I was eating Fruit Loops every day.
Man, every day.
Fruity O's.
Yeah. And then he said he's going with swimming with the sharks, y'all, over the bull. I thought you would have stayed on land with that one. But he said he's going swimming with the sharks. He said Larry Fitzgerald was the real deal. And then he's going with the Gabby Union, baby.
No, I put Kerry Washington.
Oh, you put Kerry Washington. Okay. He correct me right there. He said going with the Kerry Washington. Sorry, Dwayne Wade on that one. So, all right, man. Well, definitely a good one right there. And I think you got the 10-11 right there with the extra one. We are on to our next one, you guys, and this is our audience topic. So if you guys have something for Jamar that you want to ask him, please do not hesitate. He's giving us gems. He's giving us value. He's giving us his insight. So do not hesitate if you got a question, whether it's about HBCU, about the journey, what have you. Q, if you got anything, keep me posted. But I'm going to run it towards Jamar, the fact that you have decided to go the entrepreneurial route, man, and you're doing big things with your wife. You guys have been in the fitness space. I know that you guys have definitely also been in the nutrition space too. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to ask you, man, when was it that you said, hey, after football, you mentioned passion. When did you start getting passionate about this route?
Well, I ain't have a choice. My wife got sick with Crohn's disease 3 months after we got married. So for us, it happened fast. It was something that I had to, gravitate towards too. We wanted to do it the natural route. She got her Crohn's disease got so far onset to where she developed fistulas and she had to get her small intestine removed. She got down to 79 pounds and, she was so malnourished. Her health was very compromised. She could have died too during that time. So health and wellness had to become my passion. And from that, it also filled the void of football. You got to understand, to make it in the NFL was my dream since 6 years old. So happened to have that cut short and happened to walk away from pursuing that dream, something had to fill that void. And that's when I kind of, during that process, seen exactly the things I was good at and found my purpose to connect with people and for me to be myself and for me to be able to share with the world my experiences, but also at the same time help people through that journey of life and also help them through the platform of health and wellness become the best version of themselves.
Wow, that's huge right there, man. And as far as the health and wellness side of things for athletes, do you think that it's too saturated for other guys to get into it? Do you think athletes need to pay attention to it? I know guys are doing NIL stuff at the college level. Do you wish you would have got into it earlier? What's your feelings on the industry?
Well, the thing about, certain stuff that you couldn't do as players, we couldn't do certain stuff. Even when it comes to supplementation, there's certain stuff that you got to be careful with because of so much stuff they can't take. But the biggest thing about it now is they're building their brand. Like one thing that I discovered as far as like a lot of these athletes don't know that they have brands, right? And what that simply means is not name, image, and likeness, but create something to where therefore you can get paid off some your own brand, not waiting for a company to, so to say, sponsor you or pay you. And that's what I would say to young athletes: build an identity, build a brand, and make sure that your brand has a solid foundation. Is something that's real. So therefore, you can create a product, a service, or whatever it may be. So therefore, you can generate money and be an entrepreneur way before you get employed by an NFL team. So you already a businessman going into the NFL. So I will leverage it that way. So like my son coming up, he's going to already have his product. You know what our NIL deal is going to be? Hey, how many stores can you help us get this in? That's what school we're going to. We want to keep the money within something that we're building. I'm teaching them entrepreneurship at an early age. So that's something that someone can't take away from you. So football might not last as long, but if it does, great. But you're going to already be a businessman going into the NFL or to college or wherever, route that, that God takes you.
Right.
Wow. No, that's so.
Absolutely.
You're talking about him leveraging the game instead of the game just using him up.
Exactly. Absolutely. And like I said, having that concept, again, that's why you're not going to see these long careers. It's no need. I don't have to do this to my body for 8, 10, 12 years. I can play a couple of years, Lord will, I get my pension or whatever, or even if I don't, I'm good either way. As Jamar said, I'm rich coming in the door. What else can you do for me except give me a jersey?
Right.
So do you think these college kids should have LLCs? Are you going to teach your kids to build their business that way?
Oh, yeah, for sure. They're going to have LLCs. They're going to know about that. My son learning now in homeschool about how much his product costs, how much inventory, how much money he going to make. He's going to be way ahead of me, man. I wish I had all this information earlier, man. Understanding what's out there now about entrepreneurship and business. I mean, like I said, man, football is just a plus, to be honest. It's something that I always believe that you use your God-given abilities till you can't anymore. And then from that, you take that money or whatever you learned and put it into your purpose, right? So it says that your gift will make room for you. So whatever is your gift, make sure you use that and make sure you leverage it to your advantage, but also at the same time, build something of your own and have a foundation. So when that's no longer your gift, may no longer be your gift, you still have other stuff that you can fall back on or other stuff you can transition to if your gift is something physical, right? You have the mental aspect of it, the development, the understanding, things like that, the knowledge and the knowing and networking, and make sure you're getting around the right people, like all that type of stuff I wasn't taught, man. So I had to learn after football, but it definitely is something very beneficial in that I've learned in the process. And I'm glad I learned it that way because it's going to be much more significant and much more, so to say, much more impactful in the lives that I've touched because I actually went through the experience, and I want to make sure that no one has to go through the similar experiences that I went through.
Wow, that's huge right there, man. And you guys see why we're trying to expose you to certain people that are going to keep it honest with you, people that are going to come behind the locker room door and share the truth. So really appreciate that. We got a comment from Coach Hughes. I see you, Coach John Hughes. He's got a great young DB wide receiver in his house. He says, why is it so hard for the HBCU football programs to get the big name schools, Jamar, the big name high school players?
I mean, because they don't get the marketing exposure. Like I said, D1 is pushed, right? So everyone thinks they have to play D1, right? I played both. I played against Larry Fitzgerald in Pittsburgh when there was a number 10 team in the country. And I'm going to tell these young players, like, it's really no difference, especially if you're a skill position player. The difference is D1 and D1 AA, which HBCUs are, is the depth. Like those D1 schools have more depth. So like their defensive line start getting tired, they can rotate other guys in. At the smaller schools, you may only have out of 11 players, you may have 9 players that's solid. And you're not really going to have that many backups. So after guys start getting tired, then that's when stuff start happening. From a skill position standpoint, man, you had to cover longer if you played DB because the defensive line wasn't as great as where if you go to Alabama and the quarterback only got 2 seconds.
Yeah, they getting home. Yeah.
Of course, the ball gonna
come out.
The ball gonna come out faster. I know that. I can sit on more routes. You can't sit on routes and because the defensive line might not get there. The receiver run right past. So you got to really work on your skills and coverage skills. And you have to really, actually be. To me, if you come from HBCU, man, you actually better in a sense because you don't have all the resources that the bigger schools got. Plus, you had to go through more just to get to that point and had to put out more just to get opportunity. So it's hard for the guys to get the big name guys simply because of the resources for one, the marketing and the promotion, but also at the same time, the guys thinking that they have to go major D1 to go to the NFL.
Yeah.
No, that's a great point right there. And John, I know Elijah's looking at some options. I mean, he's a wide receiver DB. As far as skill guys, it's going to be some talented boys at some of them HBCUs down south. And
Jamar, and the thing is, what's funny is, you know, if you tell our viewers, it's like you go there, you get in the camp, and you square up with guys that went to the Florida State and Ohio State, and you're like, man, like, yo, you went where? You know,
exactly.
you nowhere near as advertised. But a lot of times, and let's be, this is God's honest truth. There are a lot of guys that they get an opportunity all the way down, even if not drafted, free agent opportunities solely off of your alma mater, solely off of where you went. Oh, you're a Michigan kid, give them a shot. You're a K-State kid, whatever, give them a shot. You and if that's the case, I mean, fine, great, but I mean, you see it all the time. You get an opportunity and get there. It's like, man, these guys aren't as advertised. You just went to a particular school.
Yep, exactly.
100%. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Jay.
Man, you 100% right. I play with a lot of guys. I'm like, you went where? Like, oh, okay. Like, you know, just keeping it 100, man. Like, so you can ball. It don't matter, man. So don't get caught up into like what school you got to go to. Especially HBCU with Prime just leaving Jackson State even brought more exposure. So if HBCU like you like that and they really celebrating you, then that's where you should go. It's just going to D1 to go to D1 don't mean anything if they don't like you like that, because they're going to play the guys who they like at the end of the day. Because when you go to D1, let's be honest, everybody can play. It really boils down to who the coaches like and who they want to play, man.
Yep. God forbid your coach leaves. So, yeah, absolutely. Facts.
Jimmy Rucker said that's why the Alabama corners are having it tough in the NFL, a lot of them. And then he says we should give you 3 for Nas and 2 for Kerry Washington. So he says you think like he thinks, so you get to go there. So, no, that is great info, man, and huge. You know, that's what I'm talking about, you guys. It doesn't just have to be football. You can leverage football into having an amazing life, and that's what Jamar has done. He's talking to you guys about some of the things, his mindset to keep things tight. So I appreciate it, man. This was huge. I know our audience got a lot out of it, Jamar, and thank you for coming on the Locker Room Show, man.
Man, it was my honor and privilege. Appreciate you guys. Q, you already know how I feel about you, bro. You a real one.
Yeah, man. No doubt. Oh, no doubt. Tell them what is your product, man, the website.
How can we get to you?
IG.
Okay, awesome. Mr. Let's Go on Instagram with 4 O's. Our product, we have a perfume and cologne line, lgcompound.com. You also can find the product Dominant. Dominant is a natural vitality product for men. In between the ages of 30 to 60, but you can take it whenever or whatever. That's the ages I'm targeting, because when most men hit that certain, age, their bodies start naturally stop producing testosterone. Their testosterone levels start declining. I wanted to give them a healthy option, so therefore they won't have to take synthetic shots and stuff like that to try to boost their testosterone. So that's where you can find it, lgcompound.com. You can find our fragrance. And you can find the Dominant on there. And then on Instagram, I'm Mr. Let's Go. I'm always posting motivational videos, workouts, and stuff like that. Posting my son getting it in. My youngest son, he's up next. He's way more talented than me, and I can't wait the journey. And I look forward to waking up every single day working with him. So that's where y'all can check me out.
Cool. Definitely check him
out. I love it. Yeah, so hey, check them out, and get right, man, because obviously this man's got it going on and he's got the recipe. So you guys tap in with Mr. Let's Go and get your success on. All right. So hey, we had a great show tonight, and we'll definitely have you back on soon, Jamar. We appreciate you, brother.
All right, I'll take care.
Yeah, my man.
All right, man. So hey. That's a good dude right there.
Definitely. Getting it done.
I mean, to come from an HBCU, we dreaming about playing from a Big 12 going to the NFL. He does it from an HBCU, like he said, little resources, but had talent and then leveraged it, man, into an amazing life, dude.
Absolutely.
So that's what it's all about.
It is absolutely. I mean, the same as Ike and a lot of ton of guests that we've had. You all, like I said, go on YouTube, look back at our previous shows. We've had a number of successful HBCU players. We've had guys that are actors,
Don't
multiple
sleep
things.
on the
Absolutely
HBCUs.
not. Please don't. It's a great opportunity. And if they come calling and you look at your options, again, that could be the absolute best fit for your kid.
Yes, indeed. So hopefully you guys got a lot out of tonight's show. I know you did. Every Thursday, we bring it to you. We bring it hard. We bring you the best. We bring you people that really want to share, because not everybody wants to share in this industry. So we're bringing you the ones who do. So hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight's show. You see Q giving you the sign. He's giving you the play to subscribe. So make sure you subscribe. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your dog, anybody you know that's affiliated or wants to be with football. Let them know. All right. So, Q, anything to say to the people?
Man, it was a great show for our viewers. Again, as my man just said, tell your friends. We'll see y'all next week. We're going to keep bringing it to you week to week. We got a ton of great guests coming. So we'll see y'all next week. Same.
I'll put it this way. I just talked to a Miami Hurricane today. I ain't gonna tell you around.
I didn't even know that, folks.
He didn't even know that.
Hot off the press.
So we working on people, and we got some hot people coming to you that are gonna give you the truth. So bring back a friend next week, Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm Coach Wood. That's Q the Guru. We will definitely see you at the top. Have a good one.